Well. This is going to be one of these. There are going to be a couple of days in the podcast in the next couple of months where I'm going to have to say well alone, and I don't have anyone with me. Unfortunately, Tony was not able to edit the podcast that Brody and company did yesterday in time, so he alerted me and I had to come on and rush this podcast quick before it gets to 7 p.m. EST, but some US guys are going to be pretty lucky, so you don't have to watch this podcast during school hours. Except for y'all that are in college. But, okay, we have a lot of news to talk about. I mean, we have got a couple of questions. We had some crazy highlight plays, I should say. I mean, holy mac. It was crazy. But has Naptown United proved themselves is the first question, and I think they have. They played against Team Comeback. But before I get into specifics, Tonic, run the highlights.
Out just a little bit because that could have been a big dangerous, but you can't give Caesar this much space to work. Caesar gets a flip race, and Caesar gonna put all of Naptown United on notice.
Can't turn it into anything. Fellow framed on the last back. Downfall trying to go for a bump but can't get it. Solar gonna play the ball off the wall. Perfect pass. And Solar just gonna dunk this right on the entire Naptown defense.
This is what Live Atal did to Solar. Back in the Satronics versus. I think something has certainly changed, but still, it's a one-goal game, and Naptown still have an opportunity to get back right into this. Speaking of which, the pass to Naptown's players is a pass over though. Speaking of which, there goes Caesar. A lot has to be done, to say the least. A lot has to be done for Naptown to come back into the game, but it's possible. But Devo does not want to let it happen. Double tap! Oh my God! Devo gonna put one in. The dagger for sure for Team Comeback.
Yeah, right after he got that double tap, Devo, all of Naptown United, they just said FF. They left with about 50 seconds left, I think, after Blitz Esports had scored a 6th goal after that double tap from Devo. And then Naptown just said it was enough. That was a crazy good series. Bro, I talked to Caesar and Not Solar and Devo, some of the Team Comeback players after that match, and they said Team Comeback have to be top 2 at least, for sure, the way that they played that series. And with their new starting roster, that looks absolutely amazing. And that is an unstoppable roster. But boys, Tony, can you go ahead and shift to the Team Comeback stats, please? Thanks. Look at those stats. 2.4 goals per game, 1.4 assists per game, 3.9 doubles per game, or that saves per game actually. It's listed as DPG, I think, instead of SPG, but the DPG is actually saves per game, and then the one below that, SPG, is shots per game. But I mean, some of those stats are tiny bit inaccurate because we could not get the screenshot of the last game, so Tonic and company had to attempt to do all types of percentage ratios and look over the whole gameplay all over again. Hopefully didn't miss anything, but those are the stats for Team Comeback against Naptown Saturn, and that was an absolutely amazing series. I think they played absolutely amazing. Naptown Saturn were on point that entire series. Team Comeback are now 4-0, I believe, in all of their series, but with a win coming off of Lucid Esports. But they also played God Alliance and Tonic. Do we have any highlights for that? We do? Okay, you can roll the highlights for you, Tonic.
Guys, honestly, funny story. Me and Koala are kind of like homies. That was an insane reset.
We're basically making a podcast out of this, and Punk is not liking it. Gets the flip reset and then the touch. Potentially winning this game, but speaking of winning this game, Koala Bear is gonna put another one in, and they're up by 3 now.
I'm gonna be honest. I think this is gonna come off the tongue kind of weird, but I think that Fink is probably the #1 player on their team.
Which one, Punk?
No, Think. I think like
Think?
I
Really?
think that Think is the number one person. That comes off the tongue. so
Oh.
weird.
The big miss in the midfield. It's a pass down and speaking. You were mentioning
Yeah,
him.
see?
You were mentioning him, and there you go. I think you were right about that one.
Nice little pass from Koala there up off the ceiling. You don't see
Evo
that.
might have to recover this play. Koala Bears 1v3. Never force up to the sky. I don't know what Never is doing, but that's a pass to Punk. What a play to get the lead with 20 seconds left.
Oh, they just gotta play time now. Koala with that fake, that was dirty. And then Punk with the shot.
Heck damn! You'll feel the presence of Brody Bones when he's screaming during a shot. You know that shot's going in. It's like the power of Ice Boy or Jakeem when they're screaming to the mic because of a shot so key on target. So, I mean, damn. I mean, that was not an official scrimmage, but damn, some of the highlights were good. Punk got the flip reset, then Koala passed off the ceiling to Think after Brody said Think was going to be Godline's best player, and then the 1v3 pass middle of field, then there you go to your teammate Koala Bear. You talk about him being one of the best players in the league, definitely one of the most mechanical players in the league, and he showed it throughout that series. And I think, although that was not an official scrimmage, and Team Comeback were not at full strength, that does show you how threatening some of these teams can be. And it's definitely showing you that this Godlines team, everyone's been leaving them out of contention, but they still are a top 4 contender. Our next topic is going to be which teams are the most underrated. We just mentioned it, and I think it's going to be, right now, it's probably going to be Godlines, Purity. They're going to be very underrated. Lucid just lost their first scrimmage. I don't see them making it past the quarterfinals unless they get a very lucky matchup. I don't think rank-wise they're good with it, but chemistry-wise, we're going to have to see. They are no longer undefeated, and they will not be able to break the Blizzard Esports record. But the most unbeatable record is the Blizzard Esports record of going 12-0 in series throughout a whole season. And this is going to be a 12-week season upcoming. We're going to have to see if anyone can beat that record. But, yeah, I mean, the GSCS, we're coming out with a new Twitch very, very soon. Be careful, stay tuned for that one. And then we're going to have, we just mentioned the new format, 12-week season, 8 teams going into the playoffs, 16-team bracket. The teams that don't make it will be gone to the relegation league. So don't worry, if you do not make it to the qualifiers, you're still going to go into the relegation tournament, which is going to be led by Scrib and the Annual S. Speaking of the Annual S, Blizzard Esports and Naptown United are in the grand finals, and Not Solar from Blizzard Esports is going to be playing in that grand final. So we might have just got a grand finals preview between Saturn and Blizzard Esports, except the 2 of those players, Devo and Caesar, are not on the registered Annual S Blizzard Esports roster. We're going to have to see how that turns out in a couple of, in maybe a week or so. But yeah, Team Comeback did 3-0 in sync. They 3-2 Naptown Saturn, and they 3-0 Lucid Esports. We're gonna have to see if they can continue to light everyone up on the pitch. But I don't know how good some of these teams are going to be able to counter them. And people are finally no longer putting Sadtronics at the number 1 seed going into the season. It's going to be a lot of comeback on people's list, and it has been a lot of comeback in the past couple of days. But I'm sorry, Naptown United, for doubting you. I said in the chat, I can never doubt Naptown United again against certain teams, and especially against some of the lower teams. Naptown Saturn proved that they can be a top team. But that's going to be it for me. And over here on the GSCS podcast. Peace out, everybody.